today, Radio Democracy go look inside the different appointments them where President Bio make this BNTM now in leadership for deliver on the new direction manifesto. We now one of them now feed saloon and other one them well for can discuss this one of his studio guests. I want for welcome Alpha Khan, the presidential spokesman inside the program. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Saloon.
Good morning and thank you very much.
And
good morning, listeners.
We did the studio as the presidential spokesman for discuss President Bio in cabinet. We just appoint and other appointment them we don't make for run the government for the next 5 years mandate with Australian people don't give. As a presidential spokesman, before we look at the cabinet, how we don't elect since after the election.
Thank you very much. You see, President Bio an enigma. Hard to understand. And that is what a leader is. You shouldn't second guess him. Some can say unpredictable. But you're very focused by what you want. Now that make after the election, during and after the election. Now peace no more in Sierra Leone. All the talk when I in social media, now idle banter. That now for please people outside of this country. But we the inside so we're very pleased with the outcome of the election. And the people they say, should say them please. As you can see, the streets are full. Everybody busy. They go about in business. They know say election don't know. You know why? Because with one stroke of the pen, President Bio achieved 3 revolutions. Where other people they take gun for, other people they go to the street for do, other people they riot for. He achieved 3 revolutions. The first revolution, now the youth revolution, where my colleague and brother, Honorable Paul Kamara, don't always they write about and talk about from the days when he did now for the people newspaper. He said, until the youth take control of a major part of governance in Africa, and Sierra Leone in particular, he said it was difficult for let the country go before, because the youth them get a bigger stake in the future of any country than we, the old party. So you always talk about this youth revolution. President Biodo achieved that with one stroke of the pen. He not tell nobody. But when he make the announcement, when I read Golo Carter, at the same time they talk just now. Say, President Bio, don't hand over, if you like, most parts of the control of the country's decision machines to young people. So this time, young people are not for grumble again. Young people them for come out and support their company young people. Because I then depend the decisions. So all of those where they talk youth organization, youth movement, youth this, youth that, today President Bio don't answer una. And he don't give una the answer. Say, yes, Sierra Leone, the major part of governance. Now the youth then get up. Now he make the chief minister himself, he's only 36. When I was 36, I still the drink. I still they go up and down. Any office you go past, you say, yes, I go sit on that hotel before you go inside. But now young man did it. So any youth. And in fact, this youth man, I call him a youth man, because he really did identify with the youths. He did mix with them, he dance with them, he did sing with them, he did plan for them. So President Bio no make mistake by that. A lot of youth then they inside. So that's the first revolution. The second revolution, now the gender revolution. This is something we, not to only Sierra Leone, from time immemorial, people then don't begin. They ask for equal dispensation for women then, not the world. So many conventions don't sign. So many discussions and seminars and symposia and don't hold how for empower women. President Bio, with the Giwi Act where you just passed, and even before that, you don't give space to the women. And in this government, we get nearly 33% of women in cabinet and 36% youth in the cabinet. So you don't show the first revolution, second revolution, you don't do them without firing a shot. What is the third revolution? The third revolution now they call national revolution. The national revolution is that all man in the country split. Now they were no more that outside, and they no more than a government. When APC is in a power, so soon stars. When SLPP guys say, Nakakwa Rangers, and all that kind of thing. And that's done. President Bio, with one stroke of the pen, You don't answer all those questions. And you don't tell the people, they say, Sierra Leone, now one country, one people. The North today, they get 32% of the cabinet positions, while the South has only 20, and the East 19, Freetown 7. So you see, this president, the man where they think. And if they look at the possibilities, if they look at strength, the meritocracy, and how the capabilities of the people are, they look color, they look tribe, they look anything. That is the man. So, that make after this election, and after the announcement of this, I say today, the quiet don't come naturally. Because youth, they're waking, go to the street, go hala hala. Now, they're in charge now. If they go hala hala now, then they hala against themselves. Because that is your colleague. Now, you sit on there. You can go meet and say, but brother, this thing no right too. Now, what I want, now, Congo water. So, do you this they talk to me, people, them. We, the revolution don't come. We, the old people, them, as they say, Pantemne, we don't kalakbap. Now, the young people don't take over. We go to advise them when the time comes. Kalakbap means go aside.
Okay, but you still lay in the process.
Saying oversight. Okay, mean a mouthpiece.
Okay, last start for congratulate you on your appointment as the presidential spokesman, because you serve the part of the new cabinet appointed them.
Thank you.
So do you see that coming from the president for say you go reach at this position? For the fact that so many people be still object on how much you genuine with the ruling party SLPP?
Then they object how genuine I am?
Yeah. Do you see this position of you being the presidential spokesman coming?
I'm not been there under any stress, under any coercion, under any force for I join the SLPP. I'm not there under any stress for work for President Bill. When he called me for work for him in Nakovac, I did it, one, for selfish reasons. Because when Corona been come, they say he come for kill the old people. They hand the way down past 60. And I was already over 60, going 70. And I say, hey, but when I die, they cancel. So, but when he called me, say, when I come, fet, and I know say I don't get experience. We fed with him and President Kuruma, President Bio now, myself and other people then who will be fed Ebola. I get that experience. So he called me and said, this year, I go fed for myself, then I fed for my people. Let me try stop this die as way they come for old people. So myself joined that one day. Nobody no force me. When he called me, I answer with man called alacrity. I glad for them. Secondly, when I don't enter, ask me, nobody never tell me, say, join SLPP. I remained the APC until the 20th of April. 2 months itself, when I left there. But I don't work for President Bill since 2020. Now 3 years this. So it should say, not to because I for join SLPP, now me choose, say, I want to join them. Because during those 3 years where I understood him, although I don't know him before, when he was a younger man, a president of Sierra Leone, you do a lot of things very impressive, And but when I come closer, with people they say, that's in Tarako, you just suppose you know height until you can near him. When I come near President Bio today, I say, na possible the right person at this moment for Sierra Leone. So because myself want peace, security, and a good legacy, we are going for left for me picking them, me grand picking them, and other people them picking them inside this country. Today, for hold the steering of state, now Sierra Leone, President Bio, now the best choice. So, no, the question now, the answer, I not be expect that. You see, when you make a knocking disappoint, I know they hope too much. For say, I expect this. Don't expect too much if you don't want to be disappointed. So that when something comes, it's a nice surprise. People will say, oh, you will go back like this, then go send you yonder, then go say, because you get experience. I say, all things then I got in hand. When President Bill called me, now an honor. I'm happy for serve him back. It should say, the last day where I serve him, I no disappoint him. Otherwise, he will just dump me. He's under no obligation. He's the leader of Sierra Leone. He's the president of Sierra Leone. He's the leader of the SLPP, which is the ruling party at the moment where the people don't vote for. And this time, that leadership there is there on solid foundation. You know what you do? Because the majority of the youth them and the women, now President Bio, they vote for. So it is their government, and this government can for stay.
So now we look at different decisions the presidents don't make after we win the election, where ECSL announced her as the winner of the 2023 election. one, the State House, the advisors them and other positions them, he relieve 9 of them. As a presidential spokesman, wouldn't be lead to some of them decisions they also for relieve them advisors they are na state posts before fully constituting the cabinet?
I am a spokesman. And I talk with the president tell me, with I know. With he not tell me, I know able know. I could have been in that same position with the advisors then. The relief we relieve them. Sometimes now for deploy them elsewhere. Sometimes now for reshuffle the positions on the playing field. Like you say, look, you're better off on the left flank or that. So it's still they put in team together. So I will not say relieve them. For now, it put them aside for let you able for no side. But he hasn't told me why he did that. Like I told you right at the beginning, I said President Bio now a very big enigma. You're not able to second guess him until he tell you. So I believe say what he do, that he best know that. And our constitution is very clear. So the president can appoint anybody, call him anything, because now him, now the fountain of honor, fountain of justice.
How important advisors then they to the president, especially the one them will be there around them at that moment they before you relieve them of the duty?
I think the importance of the advisors, like any advisor, is very big. They're almost indispensable in any organization. Now that make even in what you call corporate organizations. You have a board of directors. These are the advisors to the management. Then you also get the board of management. Then are the one that would execute the daily things. But the board of management, board of directors, now then they advise from time to time. And everybody needs advice. And I believe, say, the last advisors, they've done well. Because we as a country, we don't see within President Bio deliver for we. We see the lot of things they will deliver on education. We see a lot of things they will deliver on infrastructure. We see the new airport. We see the infrastructure and others. And the plans for improve youth employment by bringing in more industries, because Africa must industrialize. That includes Sierra Leone. So because of that, people have voted for him. So because they vote for him, it should say the team waving it worked well.
Now, you say the president not tell you the reason, but relieving all your advisors before making a new cabinet, that communicates anything to the public?
But I don't know whether you understand what the word enigma means. No disrespect. But what I said, this is a man where you can't second guess. The man know what he want to do. Believe me, can't time. He has just started putting the pieces together in the jigsaw of the national tapestry. So, when he done, you go see the design where they come out. Now that thing you go know whether the actions he took at the time being correct or they're not correct. So let's get a chance. Now, in opportunity, now the 1991 Constitution, where the President Joseph Saidu Momo of the APC, now he left that Constitution there for which we tell and thank you. Because from where he put that one day they not change one comma or full stop. And that is what President Bio is going with strictly. He's not changing nothing from that Constitution. And he is carrying it to the letter. That is why when ECSL announced the results, the Constitution says that ECSL get it right, and has done that, and I make the people then glad for them. So we believe, say, everybody else, including my colleagues, them, former colleagues and brothers now. They were my former colleagues, but they're still my brothers and sisters in the APC. They're going to say the Constitution where President Bio they read from, they act from. Now we write them, and that I hold the Sierra Leone together today. And of course, we will get for respect them, and respect it we will. Then we will remain a peaceful, cohesive, and united nation.
Mr. Presidential Spokesman, when you talk, you don't emphasize on something. You talk about how much President Bio asks for understand. Is it that some people were a sack and the other one they were appointed come as a shock to certain people? Is it that something strange?
No, because they were all in line. Even you could have been appointed. President Bio, like you said, he has a very wide field of view. In freedom of view is so wide. They look all sides. He has what they call a bird's eye view, an eagle eye. They see all man. And it is see, look at the young people that we had. Look at the lady where they go to Haja Ramatulai Wuri from a university to head of the tertiary education. Look at the young lady who in the Wukna State House, the STI. She's now the Minister for Communication, for Technology and Innovation. She didn't expect that. But the president, they see you. Now he makes them say, any leader, yeah, big pass all my own. Any leader, yes, big pass all my own. So he's been watching all of us. They can even call you up to you. You never know. And you'll be surprised. You won't be shocked. You'll be surprised. Okay. So we say President Bio has a bigger field of vision than all of us. Thank you.
Okay, continue for the retweet. That's not the voice of the presidential spokesperson and status. Honorable Alpha Khan, we talk about President Bio's appointment, the way he make recently. We'll come back, we'll look at the extension or new name of other institutions. Then, well, for talk more on this particular issue, we come to their studio guest. We know to no other person, but a social commentator, Thomas Dixon, we can always give view on different issues we can be in the country. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, thank you very much.
Okay, so before we look at this recent appointment or decision of President Bio, one person also only follow the trend of after everything in the election. First of all, you would describe everything so far, the state of the country and everything, the post-election situation.
My description of the state of the country go tie. First of all, I want to congratulate the presidential spokesman.
Thank you.
On the appointment.
Thank you.
And go tie to one of his statements that we make while I be the calm at the listen. He say there is peace in the country, and then within they happen on social media and idle banter. I want to say I take great exception to that. If we want genuine peace in Sierra Leone, we therefore listen to the concerns of others, particularly the opposition. Listen to them concern, try to address them concern. That could make we get genuine peace. And to describe the state of the election, I want to tell Sierra Leoneans and thank you for exhibit resilience, for exhibit peace in the process of the election. But I think there are concerns, not only from local observers, but also from international observers, like the European Union, like the Commonwealth, the Carter Center, that in some stages of the election, there is a great lack of transparency and there are other integrity issues. And I read yesterday a recent report at the State Department website wherein they call for some electoral reforms to be done. At least for me to the next election, let there be some electoral reform. And I listened the last time the presidential spokesman on AYV, they call on him brother Dr. Samura Kamara for accept the result and let the nation move forward. I think in terms of accepting the results, we have to be frank. We have to bring out the issues. I think also the opposition and demands enough will be unreasonable. Then forget reasonable demands, because you cannot say that you want an election in 6 months. A re-run election that can only be sanctioned by a court of law, the Supreme Court. You cannot say you want the heads of institutions to resign, where the Constitution is very clear that the president time for appoint them. So I think the opposition and forget reasonable demands in trying to negotiate, because right now we are in a governance crisis. The opposition, they say they need to work. They need to go to parliament. And I believe the way the presidential spokesman have been member of parliament, 27 members of the APC. We enjoy debates. He's a very good speaker. When they team up and critique the work of President Kaba, at that time, we as younger reporters, we enjoy the debate. Sometimes you get the best of the news from the opposition MP as a parliamentary reporter. So for me, I think, first of all, we need to look at this peace. It's not that because people are going around peacefully, something is not wrong. People are going around peacefully, but underneath, the undercurrents, we get for look at them. So I would describe the election as some major part of the election peaceful, but some part of it have integrity issues which should be looked at in future election. In fact, I make some of we, they even think, say, why the opposition not going to court? I can remember in 2013, the current president of Ghana, he not been glad with the election in Ghana. He going to court. That was the court not overturned the election, but the courts make landmark decisions. We open up the electoral space. We ensure say transparency there. So I believe, say, maybe they expect, say, the opposition for going to court. Okay. Perhaps they might not get what they want, but the court will make some number of reforms. We go help we going forward.
Dixie, will they continue to, before we go for the break, you don't lay your premise on how the country situation. They now a bit from that, let we come to the real issue we there for. First of all, how you would describe this all president in decision, any appointment we make? What's a general description of this?
Surprisingly, before the president making appointment, we see say one would describe as tsunami in a state house, where we see all of the advisors then lead them off. All of the advisors. And that's now a real political tsunami. You want to ask yourself, if the president actually don't succeed with all of these advisors, why he leave all of them off? Why he not maintain some of them? And then we see the tsunami continue. We see 17 ministers, former ministers, 17 of them we are laid off. 17 of the former ministers were laid off. And then you go on to ask yourself, why is it that 17 ministers are laid off? Perhaps somebody go say the president wants fresh ideas. But then you say where you get fresh and old, you get an interesting thing. So if the president laid off 17 ministers, then they talk about success in the first term. We'll therefore talk about that success with a huge question mark. And but the good side of the presidential appointments is that it brings in young and energetic people. And these are not just young people. These are young people we don't deliver in the various fields. You talk about the current the chief minister designate, when David Moina Senga, I think that position in David then the president-elect or editing position there, you know, David Francis Gu, Nina been the first chief minister, and I get David Senga. He performed very well. For me, genuinely speaking, in the last cabinet, he was the best minister. And for a very long time, Nina the best minister of education who were ever there. To the point that internationally, they get accolades. And so in promotion, I don't get any doubt about that. You look at people like the guy who be in the mines, Timothy Kaba. You know, we get this mines law now where they give about 0.1% back to the community. 1% back to the community. I think that is groundbreaking. And it's good. And as somebody who is to pretend that ministry and sure say able for make sure that it is not just a government policy, it becomes a law too in working with the Attorney General. Also is a young man, Mohamed Lamin Tarawali. And they deliver. You see these elections reform, lots of laws that the law officers do, including the one who celebrates President who they see Bokuman in the government, Gilliard. I think these are people who worked very hard. And the new names them we come. Let's just talk quickly about the new names.
We look at the names them.
Yeah.
We look at some of the new names here and look at some of the appointments them we president make. But you earlier mentioned new faces they don't can na the free. And you look at people like the likes of Cabinet Kalon, Jacob Jusu Safa, Alpha Timbo, Lahai Lawrence Lima. Now one way people will say before the 2018 election, now the people in this way you see around the presidency and the people in way being served as springboard. Is it a situation that them people that don't outlive their usefulness in cabinet ranks for bring development programs, or the president discard them when he don't reach that peak.
I won't use outlived their usefulness. I not go use that word. The presidential job is a discretionary. Appointments are discretionary. That is at the pleasure. When you get a management background, I go difficult for use discretionary, but you go say it's at the pleasure, at the wishes of the president. They can decide say Musa can be minister now. They can decide say Saptiu can be minister now. So I no go say they outlive their usefulness. Perhaps they not perform to the expectation of the president. Perhaps it's about performance. You look at Jacob Jusu Safa. He was like the captain of the team. He superintended the 2018 manifesto of the SLPP. He superintended the 2023 manifesto of the SLPP. So it was a shock to some of us that this man will be superintendent. But say he tell we 2018 say in 6 months he go turn the economy around. And the president input and they believe in and then say this man can do it. But what we see, the economy not turn around. The economy become one of the worst in the world. Although not necessarily due to we own internal pressure, internal situation. Some get for do with COVID, some get for do with the Russian-Ukraine war. And so for me, it's a surprise. You go to chief minister's office, perhaps you not been get the deep, because when you do not, you all see the first appointment of the chief minister. It has to do with supervisory. It's more of supervisory coordination. Perhaps you not be able to coordinate well. Perhaps you not be able to supervise well for the implementation of government policy. So perhaps I make the presidency, okay? Go and rest. Maybe he go come back. Maybe he go in another position. Who knows? But he is the biggest loser in this whole thing.
So why you describe him in that context there?
Well, why I describe him in that context? This is somebody who puts together government in helped the president to put together government in 2018.
So me say for
himself.
Continuously.
If now you don't to pretend the party manifesto, you don't lead the party manifesto. Would they expect when it comes to sharing politics get benefit? You should benefit. So if this time around you no benefit, whatever position you get now, he's the biggest loser.
So in this context, is it that you did doubt President being decision for relief?
No,
and
I'm not.
Somebody else.
I will never.
Because for you, it will be still Dede.
It's not my decision. I will never doubt the decision of the president. Maybe we will question the decision, but I no go doubt him. Maybe you don't think about some of these decisions. It's a human being. We don't think about some of them, but I no go doubt him. I make the question why he sacked 17 ministers. We are questioning why he sacked Jacob Jusu Safa. Somebody when have been the head of the manifesto, we put together the manifesto. Because if anybody get knowledge of this manifesto, I was at the press conference on the popularization of the manifesto. And it was Jacob Jusu Safa speaking to the issues, the 5 key issues. So the man gets everything now in head.
So in line with the former CM, when Jacob Jusu Safa being the captain or the lead of the SLPP manifesto, is it that if you're not in the process, they're part of the governance system, it's not going to be a success?
No, you have another brilliant Sierra Leonean. Like the person where he replace him, he's a brilliant guy, David Senge. He's a brilliant guy who don't see an impact na the Ministry of Basic Education.
So why question the decision of the president?
Well, they question him because this man has been an integral part of a team. So they question why this man go. Because they also hear rumor them around State House saying I want something happen, I don't happen.
Like waiting so exactly.
Rumor of campaign money. I don't know if the presidential spokesman know anything about that.
No, I know.
Rumor of campaign money.
Of exactly how much? You are going debt to that.
Of about $3 million. When they say we not verify. Mr. I make way maybe go try to clarify that one. Now lead to the tsunami in the State House. Now lead to the tsunami of some people as ministers.
No, Dixon, before the election, I've been host Jacob Jusu Safa. They will say the presidential advisor. They talk on the SLPP manifesto and the feed salon project as one of the highlights or priority areas of government, and been promised that in 3 months' time, the economy, then we don't make a turnaround in the economy. And now JJ Safa is no more.
Well, that is why they can say not cut before God. Talk half, you left half. Especially when the pleasure of the president you deserve. And if you don't tell Tradisi, you turn the economy in 6 months. Not only when things difficult, the president says I go believe you say you go able to turn in 3 months. He says I no go believe you go doubt her. If you see they turn the economy around in 3 months. So I think say in terms of feats alone, you know, all since even before multi-party democracy in 1996, President Momo of the APC, they been get what they call the Green Revolution. That not succeed when I be about agriculture and so on. President Kaba, in his second term, he said, no Sierra Leone not they go to bed hungry. It not succeed. President Koma in his second term, agriculture was the flagship project. They bring in Professor Monty Jones, who not see anything happen. President Bio in his second term, we dey hope say it will succeed. Because if we really want for bring this dollar down, we really want for talk about the economy very well, we need for begin feed reserve, we need for begin export, and so on and so forth. So we dey pray, let at least it succeed on food.
Okay.
Because really, president them, I get an opportunity for discuss with the current chief minister. I tell him about this history of president and the agricultural project in their second term, where they not succeed. They know they succeed. So I get hope. But now you go say the glass is I get half hope. Say perhaps they will succeed because for like you succeed in agriculture, it's not just government.
Okay.
You need huge private sector.
We can look at the appointments them and we zoom in that area they properly inside the program. Thomas Dixon continue for stay with you. We come to the presidential spokesperson.
Come over to the presidential spokesperson, Honorable Alhaji Alpha Khan. You don't state say so many issues in the way Thomas Dixon don't bring out, and we see you so really want for respond. You can come in now and start for.
Thank you very much. Something like that make me a spokesman. You see, sometimes the fallacy them beaucoup. When you talk about peace, you say peace is already at the country. Is there anybody fighting in the street? Nobody is. Peace is transient. It moves from day to day, it's dynamic. Therefore, make sure every day you manage them to the next level. And then the next day and the next day. So at the moment, as we speak, this country is peaceful. Nobody will tell us. Well, please.
Quickly, if people are not fighting, the concern of the opposition, you not think say na a very serious concern.
I am coming to that. Mr. Dixon brought that up. So I come to them. Then I'm in next point.
Go ahead.
The concern of the opposition. The opposition is a big political party in this country. We have 12 other opposition parties. But the one way we all concerned with, not the APC. The APC, they know they've been in government. They've been in parliament for at least 60 years, since 1962. So they know what are the processes where you go through. When you have issues, you don't go to the street and shout about it. If you want to make them listen to you, constitutionally, now 2 listening posts there. 2 side we the go, you carry complaint go. The first one, a parliament. You have your members representing you. Now that make them did it. Because we all, as members of the party, know able go na parliament. So we choose 1 or 2 people for every constituency or district. So you send them. So when you have issues, now them for go articulate their issues here and debate them. That now a room for debating. The other listening post, now the courts of law. You go there with your complaint, and you take your data, you take your evidence there. You go there, say, now so and so didn't do me. Now so and so I feel safe for it. They say, okay, bring your data, bring your evidence. You come with the evidence. Then whoever you get issue with, that person, they go summon them. They go come. If it is with ECSL, if it is with government, they'll call them. And then the court go arbitrate. But if you blatantly say, both of these listing posts, you're not interested in them. You know they go parliament. You know they go in a court. What do you want to do? Create chaos in the country? No. This is not a jungle arrangement. We are human beings. Now you make we get constitution where the whole way together. We all hope to. And as I said earlier, This constitution na APC write am. Una believe am again? Follow waiting the medicine where you prescribe, follow am. So for say they know they listen to them, we are ready to listen to them. But go to parliament and put your complaints. Or go to court and let us summon whoever is the culprit where you can go. But you have not done that. So you see, like Margaret Thatcher said, there was a time when he gets issue with one of his major cabinet ministers. He resigned, he come out. The way they resigned, he go begin to tin up in a soapbox at Trafalgar Square and Hyde Park Day, hala hala. Now he said, let me give advice to my honorable, right honorable, gentle friend. That when you are in the inside, you can make demands. On the outside, you can only shout. How would I go listen to you? And these are times, not to the times of Attila the Hun, not to the times of Napoleon Bonaparte, not to the times of Hitler. These are times where constitutional rule and human rights matter. So we have processes through which you go. So if you're not able to go to court, you say you know they go to court because you don't trust the court. You know they go to parliament because you don't feel like you should represent your people. Really, you have reneged on the purpose for which you are a political party. You have also committed what is called a dereliction of duty. You have a responsibility to the people that will vote for you. Like in Potloko, for instance. Now 10 members of parliament, a whole district of 550,000 people. Then choose 10 people for go talk for them. That's Sai who say, and they talk about how then they pull rest. Who that then they put one basin for, who that then they give soup pan. 6 of them say they know they go. You don't disenfranchise the people of Potloko. You have. And you don't cheat them. So for me, it's treachery. You've left that. Don't think about yourself. When you put yourself up for public office, not because you believe you will serve. It is not about you. It is about the people you promise you are going to serve. So me, I appeal now. Like you said, I appeal to Dr. Samura Kamara in my capacity as his friend, in my capacity as his brother, in my capacity as his former colleague. If you don't want to negotiate or do anything, but at least follow the normal channels. Go to the 2 listening posts. One is the parliament. There you don't only listen, they don't only listen to you, you also have a reason to put out your case there and debate. Then go to court. Dixon brought up a very important point. Say in 2002, now 27 members of parliament there on the APC side. SLPP being 85. We organized ourselves under the leadership of President Kuruma. We organized ourselves. What we did, first of all, we set up a shadow cabinet. I was responsible for transport and responsible for mines and mineral resources. So you shadow every ministry. So we were able to make sure that every day, like Dixon said, they get the best news from us. Because when government says this, we didn't go with what you are enough for B, but we come with an alternative. Now we did it, that's what we go do. We don't only criticize. We criticize constructively with suggestions how we can make it. And the people believed us. With those 27 people, we were able to beat 85 people. Today, the SLPP has 81. APC has 54. We know who are in it, so they are not even members of parliament yet. They are MPs elect. So if they go, 54 is 2 times what we were before. If they organize themselves properly, they stand a chance. So when you want to make complaints, there are certain things to do. They say you don't take the law into your own hands. It's not going to court. It means you want to take the law into your own hands, and that's wrong. So I talk to my brother. I talk to my friend. I talk to my former colleague in the party, former comrade. I'm not in the party anymore. But it hurts me. For CA party, we get potential for be a strong opposition in the country. We can be an alternative government. Even right now, you can be an alternative government in parliament. You cannot settle, because I read one article, I think it's the same article I read, when somebody say there are plans underway, then they plan for make the APC set up an alternative government inside this country. We are here. under the 1991 Constitution, it's a big joke. You know, it doesn't happen anywhere. You want to set up an alternative government, go to Parliament and have your alternative cabinet in there. You are allowed to have that, a shadow cabinet. Where you go even get the right for the go to the minister under whom you the shadow. You just sit on my office when they discuss and they give you information. You have the right to do that once you make it official. So I talk to them, make them follow waiting President Ernest Bai Koroma been do when he was leader. Organize the party in Parliament and try. And then the issue about the State Department we mentioned. The statement from the State Department say let them investigate what went wrong. Why the position they complain. Not with an intention to reverse or bring in a new election. No. They say for make sure, say, next time when we have another election, these things are not repeated. That's what the State Department said. But now, when they talk, they know they put the conditionalities. They'll go to the article, you look at the article, no put the condition. Now the condition is in view for future elections. But people in the bandy them around, I make us say an idle banter. And the bandy them around, the State Department don't say, may they investigate, make them do this, may they do that, because they're going to have an alternative government. No. First of all, there is no possibility for an alternative government in this country, outside of Parliament. It's not possible. That will be outlaws. So if I reach there, I get to tell the issue about the advisors who are dropped. The tsunami.
I'll Dixie ask you if you know about or in any way aware of a rumor of a campaign fund.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that because that was a rider to the question where the issue we raised. Not so. I don't tell you, I say the president once soon I don't elect him. Now in discretion for appoint anybody, for sack anybody in cabinet. If he appoint anybody and call him any name as a minister, the only person we get right for no appoint, not the Attorney General. The Constitution states clearly there shall be somebody called the Attorney General who shall be Minister of Justice. That is in the Constitution. No other minister, no the way they mention inside that. That is why the Attorney General, no they go Parliament. Because it's already in the Constitution when they appoint them. So because it's Attorney General. There shall be an Attorney General who is the minister, who shall be the Minister of Justice. It's a shall, not even a will or maybe. So that is it. All the other ministers are discretionary to the president and advisors and everybody. So if it feels say, cook, I could call you for like they are temporary employees. You call and say, can't work for me now. When that work they done, they say, well, go. I deploy you somewhere else. Or, sorry, contract done. They haven't been told that. I talked on a SLBC morning coffee yesterday. Say in the country, if we sit down and do statistics and that, you know that the president get right for appoint people in this country up to 966 appointive positions. That's not the time we maybe they by an Koroma government. I don't know if they don't increase. So let's just say lightly something up to 1,000 positions a day. You can appoint them. So if you take you out of being an advisor, it can send you somewhere else. So me, let me not second guess him, as I said. You be talking just not say, no, go before God. Not so, no cut before God. So let me not cut before God. Let me wait till the man don't put in jigsaw together. The tapestry is still open.
So in any way, get an idea or reason why some of them people in the, we are sacked?
I'm not a co-president. Neither am I a vice
But
president.
very close to the power that
Yes, but he tells me what to say. He tells me, say this, not this, this. Or when you don't make a public pronouncement, me not the amplifier. They can't amplify all my area. Not the amplification at the passo. Yeah? You don't talk any days, I don't go talk anything. Now God help me. I don't be spokesman for the APC. I don't be spokesman for President Ernest Koroma twice. Now I don't be spokesman for President Bio twice. Now because me not amplifier. An amplifier, they change the composition of the song. Now what you put inside, I ain't come out.
Oh, you said no one caught before God?
How I go caught before God, I pray. He can't do that. Thank you very much.
Continue for the way in case you just tune in and listen to the program. Good morning. So this time around, we're bringing in Thomas Dixon, social commentator. We don't talk about advisor within SAC and other key people. Now, let's look at another issue is surrounding this whole President being cabinet appointment. We see new names of institutions, for example, Information and Civic Education, Ministry of Communication Technology and Innovation, Presidential Initiative for Climate Change, Renewable Energy and Food Security. In this context, starting people and get a view for, say, this is not a bloated cabinet appointment. What do you think?
Yes, indeed, it's bloated. Indeed, it's bloated because may not be see any need for separate information and communication. Like yesterday, I've been doing an AYV. They asked me what's the function of both ministries. Communication now get for do with internet, digital marketing, and controlling of NACTA and the telecoms and so on and so forth. Whilst information get for be based purely on government propaganda. Government propaganda, passing government information, amplifying. So it's like they are going to strengthen the backbone of the presidential spokesperson as information ministry. But for me, I think we just continue for bloat the government and create an opportunity for give jobs to people. And we also see we get now NRA, National Revenue Authority. Now we get 2 deputy, which is the first time they happen. We get deputy 1, deputy 2. So you ask yourself, is it necessary for us to have 2 deputy at the NRA? So the government's very big, but the lawyer from the presidential spokesman say the president can get over almost 1,000 appointments. So for me, I think it bloated, and people the way they talk about the bloat. If you look at inflation now in Sierra Leone, just 2 months ago moved from 41% to 43%. So if government they get beaucoup money with government they pay to people then I think say the issue about bloated government for coming to play for seriously looking.
So Dixon, we look at the appointment them as we don't talk it always pleases the president. But when you look at some of the appointment them where president make, we look at the information ministry, for instance, you take a gender activist, put on the information and take a peace expert in the person of Dr. Mahoy and put on gender. And some of these things happened across ministries. What do you talk about some of them appointments?
First of all, I think we as journalists, these are the first time we don't see with them since President Kouma or President Kaba in the appoint Minister of Information, either in deputy or the minister, not a journalist, not a former journalist. When President Kouma be appointed Dr. Alhaji Kanu, so in deputy now be Tioniku was a journalist. So these are the first time that the Ministry of Information get Siba, not Siba and Yusuf Keketoma Sandi. Both of them not to journalists. Will be the thing say we'll get some journalists that win a pro-government. Senior journalists that win a pro-government journalist. Who be the thing say perhaps one of them for don't be Minister of Information. But in the wisdom of the president, he believes in a civil activist. And I'm able to perform the job well. But Mickey always say, information ministry, they be on public speaking. It has to, there is another aspect with the media relation. The media relation is very important. Because you can, for all I can, you can speak fluently, but if you always continue to get bad media, locally, this is what the international media feed into. Then they go to their websites of credible newspapers. They look this program and they look at, and then they feed into inform their opinion. So I mean the thing say you will get somebody with a journalist. Even at the presidential press secretary, I also think say you will get somebody with a media person. But in the wisdom of the president, he thinks say those people are going to perform well for him. So I look at Siba. Some of them they come up Siba, they would admire them. I'm a senior now, Albert. Very good speaker. How they speak very well. They don't head them like civil activists. You don't form almost something where you would describe as semi-international NGO, purposeful, a co-founder. You know, the man don't do your bit as a young man. I admire. You know, you don't do your bit. You look at Keke Thomas and the presidential media. I think that's an initiative. We're brilliant. Where they do every year. I think he said on doing your bit for develop the media relation with the presidency. So I don't have a problem with that. And it's not necessarily past journalists be information minister. Like what Rado did in the past 5 years as information minister pushed for the removal of part 5 of 1965 public order. He was never a journalist. But that was a brilliant decision. And the president been buying to him. You look at the reform of the IMC. That was also a brilliant idea. So I think, just that as a journalist, you go on for get the feel-good effect that one is senior colleague, now a minister of information or deputy minister of
Somebody
information.
will say you sound like the advocates now on behalf of your colleague there.
Well, I'm
but
not
maybe
the
it's too late.
I just point out, say, this is the first time. President Kaba will get Julius Spencer. In Aneskoma, you have seasoned journalists, Koto Haibi. In President Bio, there is only one time appoint a deputy minister when a journalist.
So Dixon, quick
so
one.
The thing say perhaps for don't look there, as I say, there are pro SLPP journalists.
So
for don't look around, they are senior ones.
Dixon, let me look at the office of the chief minister, now headed by Dr. David Senge, and as the presidential spokesman described him earlier, he say he in his 30s. And this is a very big responsibility. And looking at Dr. David Senge over the years and the way he responds to issues and argue on social media with people on issues we get from the government, now is the head of the ministers. How do you think he will be adjust himself to that new position, knowing that this is the big responsibility on my head?
I think when you look at Sengen as somebody very humble, Sengen go play ball on the beach with young people. He go mix with the middle class. He go also mix with the upper class. So he's everywhere. He goes one for saying a man of all seasons. He's everywhere. He depends different things there for the young people. I think for me, it's an achievement for young people in this country. For let you get somebody when a young person when you somehow describe as a prime minister like role in a cabinet, who go able for actually infuse youth friendly policies into government decisions. So for me, I think it's a good decision. You also look at you talk about Dr. Aissata Maoy. I think apart from being a peace expert, when they say in a peace expert, when you go with peace, you do peace building and gender as model. So nothing saying that T way straight for them. I think he also now somebody way a young woman we don't achieve actually for himself in terms of academia. He also don't control one ep na salon, and he also don't contribute to the peace building. When they talk about gender, also you get for it has some infusion of peace building to us.
So Dixon, the other stereotype mindset, something we'll see President be a break inside this new cabinet. Now the other for the Ministry of Sports. Way back, people believe say it's a gender thing fixed just for the men to be in charge, but we see it change that narrative day.
Yes, I think it come with somebody we get a background in sports, because somebody they asked me, this woman, in fact I even vexed by the person say really asked me come with something condescending or chauvinistic that the woman not sabi kick ball. I said, what are you saying? So for me, Augusta Tema don't lecture sports, physical education. Na Milty Magai. He also don't be treasurer na athletic. And I've been possible in the run. They say nobody in time, nobody no beat time 100-meter race. Na Milty Magai. That's the new investigation. Because already all issues they come on, so nobody no beat time. So we don't get the former Minister of Sports, who I think he doing on beats too well, who qualify for Nations Cup. But he was football focused. You get other sporting disciplines. Sport alone can able for employ over 1,000 young people. If we get it right, you get athletic, you get cricket, you get volleyball, you get boxing. These are and many other swimming, many other sporting bodies where they struggle for fun. Yes, football is the most popular and it can get the huge chunk. But at least when them like cricket, most times I didn't know say cricket where cricket is, some of we say and they say letter to we no get. Then they go cap in hand when there is resources. So you got to forget a ministry, and also one thing where them then the credits the Augusta Tema for now in discipline. I think you need a lot of discipline in sport. You need a lot of discipline in sport. If you are able for discipline in sport, ensure say Uda for travel, line for travel.
So you want to say the predecessor not be ensure say that happen?
I know
You emphasize on that.
Yeah,
so.
you know, well, I just say if you get for insurance, Uda for travel, because if not them athletes are for travel, and they for travel, government, because when we can see traveling, before now they see traveling, we now, but Kuboku government official, and they go full up with the delegation. But now for sport, so it's now I go say no. So, one person from government will go. Let's get more athletes. Let's get more footballers.
Quick one, Dixon.
Let's get more boxers.
Quick one, Dixon. We dey count to the presidential spokesman and
give me 10 minutes extra.
Quick one, Dixon. Quick one, Dixon. One of the offices created by the president, the office of the chairperson for presidential initiative on renewable energy, climate change, and food security. And this tied to government priority program. How you can describe this office and things them way you think say then go able to achieve and how then go able to go about them?
First of all, I think say if you go around NGC, the National Grand Coalition, you go around their supporters, then they look somehow disgruntled.
Why you say that?
Because in the agreement, the presidential spokesman has been there at the agreement. We are aware of that. Point 12. Point number 12, say them forgive them. The president forgive them after when they don't form the alliance. If they win, they forgive them number of ministerial position, ambassadorial position, and other parastatals. But what you see now, a presidential office, which is good, looking at KKY and the Yumkela, these are the early movers of renewable energy and climate change experts them. Now the world. If you in that place, get about 3 things away they look at. They look at food, we therefore be the flagship project of the president. And we get for do with lots of private sector investment. And they look at climate change. Now the world they move towards climate change. In fact, even donor funds, then they tie them to climate change policies in your country. So that also is good. And you look at renewable energy. The world is also moving to renewable energy. And this now policy we don't champion. And so now the time for local can see not to be just talk, can they? Because sometimes we can just say this policy a bit talk. Now it's time for him to work. But as I say, there are two, both the SLPP and the NGC, then disgruntled and they grumble. SLPP then they grumble. So most of the people them, where the president appointed, not sabi them. But that's why he's a president. And not just for appoint one party.
But president not do it with your appointment.
Well, now waiting party supporter and they say.
Okay.
Dixon.
The NGC that they say they don't renege on the agreement. In fact, some group of NGC they say KKY just go advocate for himself. He left the balance them there. So I think there are a lot of grumbling around, but
Dixon, looking at quick concept, looking at the history of food security in Salon, and when the president did adopt in the second term, he make mention of the Green Revolution. He come to the PRSP where Pakaba been say before 2007, before you go to bed, everybody for bed full, and President Bio don't count food sufficiency and put somebody in charge of that. You think say this office could be successful compared to the other one there? Or what think will be the challenge in implementation?
I think for the office, for we achieve food sufficiency as a nation, we as a nation and they don't go ahead of we.
Dixon, before you go further, please, we producer don't make sign to say we need for tell we listen and view them say where they get an extension of another 10 minutes of the time inside the program. Good morning, Salon. Go ahead and respond to you.
We need for we as a nation and do like for example rice production. You get nations like Bangladesh, Vietnam, Pakistan, they don't go far ahead of we. And for just get irrigation, proper irrigation for rice. Now, boku money where government not get. So you need a lot of private sector investment in agriculture. So like the presidential initiative, maybe why is the Ministry of Agriculture go look at issues of policy, getting the right policies in place. The presidential initiative on food, go they look at how for law investors, serious investors into agriculture. Look at even chicken. Look at Boku fall. When you go apply, they see Boku fall them. But even chicken are fit, follow which chicken are fit. So we get for importer. From Brazil. Sometimes they tell they reach it rotten. Eggs, they import a lot of eggs. So if imagine if we get proper agricultural, would they get employment? Would they get food? Would they even export to neighboring nation? Look, recently we I think it's PC and another company where they produce oil. Then they export to neighboring country, Liberia and other places. But we get for ensure see what do they produce? We get for it, and government no go able for spend that kind of money for let get. Now make them last President Kaba in PRSP on agriculture say we go to bed hungry by 2007 fail because we all been thinking a government initiative. A government only for put money, but you need lots of private sector investment in them. You can't to President Anes Kuma agenda for prosperity. If you focus then on the agriculture, but the reason why making able for reach to the pinnacle now because of this issue of private sector investment. So the challenge is getting serious investment in agriculture.
So for
and for let know this, for we should also note that for government for run as alone normally. Now like 3 years, now they get proper government. The last 2 years, they get for people politics.
Okay, so for NU contribution to this particular issue on President Biyo appointment, what think will be general view of the young people laying up to the tax for ensure say the big priority of SLPP they achieve inside the next 5 years?
I don't say you get brilliant young people.
Generally.
Brilliant women them. Where they also in a cabinet. The president will appoint. For me, you go on for describe this cabinet as a technocrat cabinet. Because even the young people they are experts in their field. So I think say we just they not just get for dash we hope as young people then because if they fail, it means all of us young people who don't fail. If they fail, it means all the women they way in this country they don't fail. So we might because what you know happens so now a generational shift. It reminds me of the story in the Bible, Jeroboam and Rehoboam. So it's a generational shift. So if they fail, they don't fail a whole generation. So that is why me go try for tell them say they need for put their shoulders so they will ensure say they succeed.
Okay. Continue for stay with you, Thomas Dixon. We come to the presidential spokesperson and let we look at a quick one on the presidential initiative for food security and also renewable energy where Dixon been church on. You don't church on several of these, but look at this one way in a government priority programs and don't create a special office to this one. So you as a presidential spokesperson, how this office get for time like just a shadow or glimpse of how we get for time like in the future?
Thank you very much. Let me answer that as a second position. First position, deal with the reason why a ministry that I had headed, maybe media head, Minister of Information and Communication, and get for split up. I'll tell you now why. Information and communication are two dissimilar functioning ministries. Totally dissimilar. Information should actually be information and broadcasting. But now we don't make them with civic education. That is a consumptive ministry. They eat money. Not they bring much. Except for the licenses they own that they pay through IMC and all that. But when you talk about communication, it is actually the new technologies. In French countries, they call it the Ministry of le Ministère des Nouvelles Technologies. In other places, they call it Digital Economy Ministry. Because this is not a ministry where, if properly managed, it will make money past mines, it will make money past fisheries, it will make money past agriculture put together. I have seen that. Me now a Minister of Information and Communication. What to make we know they respect the communication aspect. When we ministers of finance, they can go read budget. They can get aside for revenue, internal revenue. Then go put from agriculture, we get 40 million. Then go put from fisheries, we get 30 million. Then go put mines, we get 60 million. When you add all those, I remember now, because these are specific figures we remember from 2013. When you add all of those, you get about 130 million. From the three ministries. We're mining, they pollute. Mining, they cause climate change. And also, while communication, we know they really affect the atmosphere and the environment. That same year, AfriCell alone as a company paid taxes of $92 million to government. Airtel alone as a company in 2013, they paid taxes of $112 million. So between the two companies no more, I don't think I'm not going to Tigo is still there. And other companies, Mobitel, Leminde, are not called in, just those two. When you put them together, 92 million and 112 million, that is almost $210 million from just two companies. Now compare with the 130, where you get from mining, total mining, fisheries, and agriculture put together. This is just two companies in one ministry. But when will they do that? We know they put how much money come out by communication. We just they put them together, say all others. We slot them together now with all the other half-15, then trade and license and all that, put together, then put in lump sum. So because they know they disaggregate them, they know. These are things that I told President Nkrumah before. These are things that I said publicly, that in fact, the ministry, the communication itself, is riding on one of our major natural resources, the electromagnetic spectrum. Every country gets that, but it's very small. Now, a small part of the spectrum, the electromagnetic spectrum, every country they get. That one day we take, we cut, guna, license and all that kind. It's so valuable that maybe advocate during the time when we developed the agenda for prosperity. Made an Adam. Now we natural resources, assets base. And that has been done. Because we talk about minerals, we talk about the land, the sea, and all that, which we get, and make sure, say, them put electromagnetic spectrum there. So this now ministry way, if we manage them properly, we can forget about mining. And I believe, Senator, that wisdom there, now in President Bio, don't look. In Guinea, it is called le ministère des nouvelles technologies. In Togo, and called the Ministry for Digital Economies. It is not about information and communication, no. They're totally different. So this, if that young lady were then put there, Salma Manongapa, the cow I know say he get acquired qualification and all that. He able to go in. He able to price the nut and pull the kernel inside. Sierra Leone, within the next 6 months to 1 year, we're going to clap with your foot.
Alhaji Alpha Khan.
No.
How you go end your contribution to this program in terms of assessing
But
generally all appointing them for saying they up to the tax and they go deliver?
You cut me short.
We don't do the extension time when you ask us.
No, but you did not give me enough time, my dear.
We already don't do extension time for you for 10 minutes more.
Me na old pa, they sleep, you call me, make a grab, quick a cam.
But you say now about fire, you up to, if you can buy airtime, you can buy airtime.
No, but you ask me questions. These are important things for the country.
We didn't deal with time at the same time.
So let me finish, please. Now, I don't know with Andy. Then you talk about NRA having two, give me small time. I go pay this. Two deputies. The NRA, now we measure revenue earner in the country. So you get for GAM priority. GAM, enough personnel, we go able to generate and mobilize internal revenue. So we reduce dependence on aid. They say two heads are better than one. So then bring a second one there. For me, I think it is a commendable move by the president. Then NRA, at the moment, this year, the House of Commons in England don't award them as one of the best organizations in the Commonwealth. In fact, for West Africa. We own NRA, Nainengi certificate. So when we are doing well, then we talk so. But these things are not publicized. So that is why. Now let me answer your question, Musa. The presidential initiative for climate change, for renewable energy, and food security. It's so vital. Climate change, we can't talk because we already see how things they affect you with the environmental changes where they happen. So that is a major imperative in the world today. Kande Yomkela, Honorable Dr. Kande Yomkela, where them put there? You don't have certain initiatives within the United Nations for the world on those issues, climate change. Don't do them outside of Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Renewable energy has also done so. Naim, we did one only make energy sufficient, at the same time reduce climate disturbances. And then food security. First of all, give somebody what you know. Dr. Kande Yomkela, na farmer, he comes from Samu. Now rest of all they plant there. That's all it. So he already grew up in a farming environment. And when we talk about agriculture in Sierra Leone, really, now for put something in a belly, food security for it, not for just for sell chocolate and all that. So he is the right person for that. But this year alone, with Dr. Karim, a lot of initiatives they do for go to smallholders, for go cultivate for people. We in Abakeloko on 550 hectares of rice farm now cultivate for we this year. And talking about the productivity, Tomabum, this year, them plant rice in March, the height of the dry season, through irrigation. And right now, just July, and they can harvest arrest.
Okay.
So there are possibilities. You talk about Vietnam. You talk about Bangladesh. President went to Vietnam with the agriculture team for go study these things. So when you see he come back, he say agriculture, now food security and agriculture. Now he come because he already has the framework in his bag. He come for that. And he ready for Duam. So let me get a chance, let put them together. And he believes it. For let one person did it, we go work with all three ministries. We're in a priority ministries of energy. We're Honorable Alaji Kanja, CCD, he don't do very well. And then environment, and also this food security agriculture. You put Kande, who does not only have the experience, but he born within that environment. For let work with them in a committee where they will sit also. The ministers will sit there, I believe. And he will be the chair. So they're going to exchange ideas, how they're going to develop policy for they reach the poor man out there. So for me, I think this cabinet is a great cabinet. Okay. And I want to talk, 1 second, let talk to the youth. Youth, they are no hamburger again in the country. Una been the talk say una want power, una want force. We don't give una. We don't sit them aside. If una create problem, like creating them for yourselves. Because Dr. Senge, who is the chief minister, now one of una, now they play ball na beach. You have problems, call them. Instead of anybody calling us, Sikalo go na street. Don't do that anymore. Now on a day at the driving seat. We will be in. We're not passengers. But we are very diligent and watchful passengers as older people.
And now you're also an amplifier.
We are the amplifier has become a spokesman. The amplifier waiting presidency. Now the amplification of the person. The youth, they don't give the power. This time, I'm not going to worry for fact. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining me inside the program. Alpha Khan, presidential spokesperson, and also earlier we been Thomas Dixon inside the program. And today, good morning, Salon. We look at President Bio in new cabinets, who that come and who that left.